Huh? Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Game Night channel. Now, I know I'm a bit late to the party compared to other similar videos of this type, but with it being a new year, that means new board games will be coming out soon. Now, this isn't necessarily a list of games to look out for as far as heavy hitters go, next game of the year, or anything like that. This list is going to include games that I personally am really excited for that are coming out this year. Please be aware that some pictures shown might include prototype versions of these games and may not represent the final version that comes out. When picking these games, I never came across an exact release date, just everything said 2024 next to their title as their intended release date. Now be sure to stick around to the end to see my personal favorite that I'm really looking forward to this year. So without any further ado, and in no particular order, let's just get right into the first game. First up on our list, we have Mycelia. Mycelia is a game all about growing and maintaining your own kingdom or colony of mushrooms. This game follows the life cycle of a fungi from its creation to growth to death and rebirth. You can grow, spore, and decay your own mushrooms and try to block your opponents from gaining ground. Players can take on their own playstyle by being more aggressive against their opponents or building up a more defensive growth approach. The central board is made up of tiles that are randomly laid down and will continue to spread as the game progresses. And at the end of the game, the player with the highest score and strongest network wins. I really admire the theme of this game and all of the artwork on the cards. Mycelia will be for up to 4 players and will probably be the closest I get to trying my hand at gardening. Up next, we have Dead Cells, the roguelite board game. This is going to be the first of 2 video game to board game adaptations I have on my list. I just really enjoy playing both. Dead Cells is a dungeon crawler, cooperative roguelite game for 1 to 4 players. You are going to take control of one of the 4 beheaded. Gameplay revolves around exploring biomes, defeating enemies for loot, dying, mutating, and repeating the process. Now, if you heard correctly, I know what you might be thinking.
Isn't dying bad in games?
Normally, yes, but in Dead Cells, it is only just a part of the gameplay loop. As you explore and loot, you'll be collecting cells. When you die, instead of it being a game over, you instead get to spend your cells to buy permanent mutations that will upgrade your beheaded. Now, with your upgrades to your power, your cards, or your survivability, you can venture back into the dungeon and push further than before. With all of its vibrant colors and roguelite theme, I'm really looking forward to trying out Dead Cells when it drops. Next on our list is Flock Together. Flock Together is an immersive cooperative game in which you and your friends take on the role of chickens trying to fend off their predators and survive the passing seasons. Every chicken has its own asymmetric skills and abilities, and you have to figure out how to best utilize them to survive. Now, the game itself takes place over 3 seasons. Players will balance out leveling, loot from predators, traveling grub merchants, and changing weather conditions. Keep in mind that with every changing season, the predators will gain more power and abilities as well. Flock Together will provide 11 unique characters and 10 different predators for you to fend off, offering many games of replayability. Flock Together will be available for up to 5 players, and I will absolutely be grabbing myself a copy when it comes out. Up next, we have Lore. Lore throws you into a medieval world where your goal is to grow your renown through all the land. Lore will be played with 2 to 4 players. Each of you take on the role of one of 4 mythic archetypes: the knight or paladin, the wizard enchantress, the rogue bandit, or the prince princess. The game takes place over 3 days. That's what they call rounds, not actual days. And each day consists of 4 turns for each player. Lore uses elements of action selection, card play, dice rolling, and character building to build your hero or heroine story. Earn renown by completing quests which will have you go out and fight monsters, or go out in search of riches, and the player with the most renown at the end of the 3rd day wins. Lore has this charm and appeal to it that just really tugged at me, and the old age medieval artwork just really reeled me in. If you're enjoying the video so far, or you've seen a game that looks like fun, be sure you hit subscribe to see more videos like this. our next video game to board game adaptation, Apex Legends, the board game. Apex Legends, the board game, literally brings the chaos, thrill, and stakes of a battle royale to the table. This game is going to be a tactical team versus team game for 2 to 4 players. Apex Legends takes place on the Kings Canyon map and focuses on the ending confrontation in the final zone. Each player takes on the role of the legends and work together to outmaneuver their opponents and fight to come out on top. Players will need to balance movement and positioning with hand management of their action cards. True to the essence of the video game, every choice, every move, and every bit of ammo matters. Now hopefully, since I can't aim at all in the video game, I'm hoping I can at least land one shot on the tabletop. Next on our list is Dragon Eclipse. In Dragon Eclipse, you're a tamer that sets out to uncover the secrets of the eclipse that changed everything and discover the dangerous and treacherous world that awaits you. You are provided with an adventure guide and a map that you can explore and gives a choose your own adventure or progressing through scenarios kind of vibe, kind of like Gloomhaven. During your adventure, you will eventually end up combating different beasts and creatures in which you will battle or even tame and capture to keep as your own. Each creature has its own deck of cards you can use in combat, providing its own special abilities. This offers an abundance of tactical possibilities to master depending on the creatures you tame. Dragon Eclipse is a solo or 2-play cooperative game, but looks like it's best to play solo. With its detailed miniatures and immersive world to get lost in, Dragon Eclipse is looking like it'll be my first addition to my solo game collection. Next on the list is another cooperative game, Fire Siege, a Feralis story. Fire Siege is a limited communication cooperative game for up to 5 players. Everyone assumes the command of a Valkyrie hero with unique skills and abilities and must work together to stave off the army of Skrill swarming the city to defeat your leader. The game plays very similar to a tower defense game where enemies are constantly flowing towards the center of the board trying to get to your leader. To keep the Skrill away, you must all fulfill different goal cards. These can include sealing nests to stop enemies from spawning, rescuing the inhabitants of the city, or recruiting mercenaries to help bolster your forces. Be wary though, because every action you take triggers its own reaction. When you play a card, you only get to see one side of that card, while everyone else gets to see the other. Now the other players cannot directly say what is on that side of the card. If at any point one hero is defeated, one enemy gets to the center of the board, or the incubation track fills, the game is over. It is up to you and your fellow Valkyrie to effectively communicate how the flow of battle is going and how best you can achieve victory. This next game is for all the deck building enthusiasts, Singularity.exe. Singularity.exe is a deterministic card game for 2 to 4 players that promotes endless creativity and removes the element of randomness. Players can create their own squads or choose from the pre-created squads provided. Your squad consists of 5 champions, with each character having their own deck of 3 origin cards. Every card is specifically chosen and placed by the player, removing the element of randomness. Players will take turns attacking their opponents by means of origin cards and character abilities, and the first player to crash 3 of their opponent's champions wins. I personally am not the biggest fan of TCG and deck building games, but removing that element of randomness where I don't have to worry about drawing that right card really gets me excited. So with that taken out of the equation and the overall theme of this game, I really look forward to trying out Singularity.exe. Next on the list is Roboman. Now you're probably all thinking exactly what I'm thinking. This sounds very similar to another popular franchise, and I think it's safe to say we'd all be correct. Roboman is an exploration-focused, story-driven, and open-world game for 1 to 2 players. Like Dragon Eclipse, you'll be going through a book of maps and scenarios. You will work your way through adventures completing quests, solving puzzles, and defeating gym leaders. As expected, you'll be able to battle, capture, and train various robos you find throughout the world, and eventually become a fully licensed Roboman Ranger. Each game session can take up to 5 minutes or 5 hours, depending on however long you want to play. Roboman also seems like another adventure game that's best played solo, and I'm eager to get my hands on it and just jump right in. And finally, the game I think I'm most looking forward to, Forsaken. Forsaken takes place in a sci-fi western sandbox world where planets and moons have been strip-mined of their resources and the inhabitants of those settlements are left to fend for themselves. Every character has their own branching line and unique events tailored to the choices they'll make along the way. You can take odd jobs around the settlement, go out and hunt bounties, and explore personal and public story points to grow your character. Forsaken looks like it's really taking that idea of a medieval knight going out to carve out a legend for themselves, but dropping it into that sci-fi western world. I'm really intrigued to see how much of your choices can change each playthrough, and also how each choice can shape your character's motives, goals, and impact on the world. Forsaken will be able to be played with up to 4 players, and is without a doubt one of the games I'm going to be buying this year when it drops. And that's it! Those are all the games I'm really looking forward to coming out this year. If there are any games that I missed that you personally am looking forward to, please leave it down in the comments below. There are just so many games that'll be coming out this year, and it's just not easy to throw everything into one video. Thank you all for tuning in, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.
Huh?